Hello and welcome. Today we journey to a time shrouded in myth and misconception, the Middle Ages. Spanning roughly from the 5th to the 15th centuries, this period witnessed the fall of an empire, the rise of new faiths, and the birth pangs of a new age. The medieval world, often dubbed the Dark Ages, was anything but static. It was an era of immense change, a tapestry woven with threads of war, faith, innovation, and societal upheaval. From the ruins of the Roman Empire emerged a new Europe, fragmented yet vibrant. Our journey begins with the fall of Rome, a seismic event that sent shockwaves across the known world. We'll explore the immediate aftermath, the fragmentation of the Western Roman Empire, and the emergence of new powers. Join me as we delve into castles and cathedrals, encounter knights and peasants, and trace the threads that connect this fascinating epoch to our own. The medieval world awaits.
In the 5th century AD, the once mighty Roman Empire, weakened by internal strife and external pressures, finally succumbed. The year 476 AD marks a pivotal moment, the deposition of Romulus Augustulus, the last Roman emperor in the West. This wasn't a sudden collapse, but the culmination of a long process of decline. Barbarian invasions, economic instability, and political corruption had chipped away at the empire's foundations for centuries. The fall of Rome had profound and immediate consequences. Centralized governance crumbled, replaced by a patchwork of Germanic kingdoms. Trade networks, once the arteries of a vast empire, were disrupted. Cities, once bustling centers of commerce and culture, declined. The Roman world, as it had been known for centuries, was no more. In its place emerged a new era, one marked by uncertainty, transformation, and the seeds of a new Europe.
The period following the fall of Rome, often referred to as the Dark Ages, was one of significant upheaval and transition. With the collapse of centralized authority, Europe fragmented into a mosaic of smaller kingdoms and principalities. Trade declined, cities dwindled, and literacy became largely the domain of the clergy. The grandeur of Rome seemed a distant memory. Yet, amidst this apparent decline, new forces were at work, shaping the contours of the medieval world. Christianity, once a persecuted sect, spread rapidly, offering solace and a sense of community in uncertain times. Monasteries, islands of learning and stability, emerged across the continent, preserving ancient texts and fostering scholarship. The Dark Ages were not devoid of light. They were a period of profound change, a crucible from which a new Europe would eventually emerge. While the Western Roman Empire crumbled, the Eastern Roman Empire, centered in Constantinople, endured. Known as the Byzantine Empire, it preserved much of the Roman legacy for centuries to come. Constantinople, strategically located at the crossroads of Europe and Asia, flourished as a center of trade, diplomacy, and culture. The Byzantine emperors ruled over a vast and diverse realm, inheriting the Roman traditions of law, administration, and military might. Byzantine art and architecture, a blend of Roman, Greek, and Eastern influences, dazzled the world. The magnificent Hagia Sophia, a testament to Byzantine architectural genius, still stands as a symbol of the empire's enduring legacy. The Byzantine Empire played a crucial role in shaping the medieval world. It served as a bulwark against Eastern incursions, preserved classical knowledge, and influenced the development of Slavic culture and Orthodox Christianity.
Section 5. The Church's Embrace, Christianity's Rise. In the aftermath of Rome's fall, Christianity emerged as a unifying force in Western Europe. The Church, with its hierarchical structure and message of hope and salvation, provided stability and continuity in a world grappling with profound change. Missionaries, often facing great peril, spread the Christian faith far and wide, converting pagan kings and establishing monasteries in remote corners of the continent. The Pope, as the head of the Church, commanded immense spiritual authority, influencing political affairs and shaping the moral fabric of medieval society. Monasteries became centers of learning, preserving ancient texts and fostering scholarship. Monks meticulously copied manuscripts, ensuring the survival of classical and early Christian writings. The Church's influence permeated every aspect of medieval life, from art and architecture to law and education. It provided a sense of unity and purpose in a fragmented world, shaping the religious, cultural, and political landscape of medieval Europe.
Charlemagne, a king's quest for unity. Out of the chaos of the early Middle Ages emerged Charlemagne, king of the Franks, crowned Holy Roman Emperor in 800 AD. He sought to revive the Roman Empire. Charlemagne expanded his kingdom, uniting much of Western Europe. He fostered a revival of learning and culture known as the Carolingian Renaissance. He reformed the legal system and promoted education. Though his empire fragmented after his death, Charlemagne's legacy endured.
Section 7. Feudalism, a bond of loyalty and land. To maintain order in a decentralized world, a new social and political system emerged, feudalism. This hierarchical structure defined relationships between lords and vassals based on oaths of loyalty and the exchange of land for military service. At the top of the feudal pyramid stood the king, who granted land or fiefs to his most powerful nobles, his vassals. These vassals, in turn, could grant portions of their land to lesser nobles, creating a complex web of obligations. Knights, heavily armored warriors, formed the backbone of the feudal army. In exchange for land and protection from their lords, they pledged their military service. Feudalism, though often romanticized, was a complex and often brutal system. It provided a degree of stability in a turbulent age, but it also reinforced social hierarchy and could lead to conflict and instability.
Section 8. Life on the Manor, the Cycle of Seasons. The vast majority of people in the Middle Ages lived in rural communities called manors. The manor was the economic heart of medieval life, a self-sufficient estate where lords and peasants lived in a symbiotic, albeit unequal, relationship. Peasants, tied to the land, worked the fields in exchange for protection and a portion of the harvest. Their lives revolved around the seasons, their days filled with the toil of planting, tending, and harvesting crops. Life on the manor was harsh and unforgiving. Disease, famine, and warfare were constant threats. Yet within this agrarian society, a rich culture of folklore, music, and communal traditions flourished. The manor, with its fields, forests, and mill, provided for the basic needs of its inhabitants. It was a world apart from the castles and courts of the nobility, a world governed by the rhythms of nature and the cycle of the seasons.
Section 9. The High Middle Ages, a time of growth. The High Middle Ages, spanning roughly from the 11th to the 13th centuries, witnessed a period of remarkable growth and transformation. Populations surged, fueled by agricultural innovations and a period of relative peace. New technologies, such as the heavy plough and the three-field system, increased agricultural productivity, leading to food surpluses and population growth. Trade revived, connecting distant regions and fostering economic growth. Towns and cities, once languishing after the fall of Rome, experienced a resurgence. Urban centres became hubs of commerce, craftsmanship, and cultural exchange. The rise of towns marked a significant shift from the predominantly rural character of the early Middle Ages. The High Middle Ages were a time of intellectual and spiritual vitality. Universities emerged, attracting scholars from across Europe. Theology, law, and medicine flourished as subjects of study.
Section 10. The Crusades, clash of faiths, cultures, and ambitions. The High Middle Ages were also marked by a series of religious wars known as the Crusades. Motivated by a complex interplay of religious zeal, political ambition, and economic incentives, European Christians embarked on a series of campaigns to reclaim the Holy Land from Muslim rule. The First Crusade, launched in 1095, captured Jerusalem, sending shockwaves through the Muslim world. Subsequent crusades achieved varying degrees of success, establishing crusader states in the Levant, but ultimately failing to permanently wrest control of the Holy Land. The Crusades had a profound impact on both Europe and the Middle East. They exposed Europeans to new ideas, cultures, and goods, stimulating trade and cultural exchange. However, they also unleashed waves of violence and intolerance, leaving a legacy of religious animosity.
Section 11. Towns and trade seeds of change. The Crusades, driven by religious fervor, also stimulated trade and the rise of towns in Europe. Demand for Eastern goods increased, boosting the need for merchants, artisans, and financiers. Towns along trade routes or rivers flourished. Guilds emerged to regulate trade and protect members' interests. The Hanseatic League dominated northern European commerce, connecting cities. Their ships, laden with goods, fueled economic growth. The rise of towns and trade marked a significant shift in the medieval world.